This gentleman stood up, he raised his hand, and he said, "Governor, I need to ask you what your vision is for being commander-in-chief." He said, "Because my wife and I, in 4 months, are sending our son to Iraq, and we want to know." And I was so focused on listening to him, when he got done with this question, I turned and looked to his left, and his wife was sitting next to him, and she was in tears. And at that moment, everybody, I stopped being a candidate for president, and I started to be a father. See, Mary Pat and I have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, 22 and 19, 15 and 12. And I was putting myself into that woman's heart. And I know what she was thinking. The most precious thing in her life, this child that she's nurtured from the time he was in the womb, through infancy and childhood, through young adulthood, she was now handing him over. The most precious thing in her life. She was handing him over to our country, to put him in harm's way, to fight for our values and principles around the world. And I know that feeling has to be overwhelming for that mother and father. The worry they're going to have every minute he's away is going to be overwhelming. And for any parent in this country whose son or daughter goes to war for us, what they want to know is, will the commander-in-chief take care of their child? Will the commander-in-chief understand the nature of their sacrifice? And will the commander-in-chief make the kind of decisions that defines the mission for their child and then backs up that child so they can come home safely after performing that mission successfully? There were 3 veterans sitting in that room, in that same town hall meeting. They had hats on. One said World War II veteran. One said Korea veteran. One said Iraqi freedom veteran. And as I looked at their hats and I was beginning to answer this gentleman's question, what I was thinking was this. Think about the men who send them into war. Franklin Roosevelt and Harry Truman. Harry Truman and Dwight Eisenhower. And George W. Bush. Put aside your politics and whether you agreed or disagreed with everything or anything that those presidents did. We could all agree that those were men of honor and dignity and wisdom and seriousness who took the job of commander-in-chief seriously and understood their responsibility for the people that they sent into battle for our country. So here's what I want you to do tomorrow, because this is what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. When the caucuses start, I want you to think of that mother and father. I want you to pretend that that mother and father are standing on either side of you when you're getting ready to mark your ballot. And I want you to think, if you could say out loud to that mother and father, I truly believe that, fill in the blank, whoever you're voting for, is the best person to be commander-in-chief, that he'll make our country proud and he'll take care of your son. See, because that's what this election is about. That's what it's about. Now, it's been an entertaining election, believe me. I've been entertained myself. I've been on that stage, everybody. There's been stuff said and things done that I never thought I'd see in my entire life. And I have laughed at times as hard as you have. But showtime is over. Showtime is over. It's game time. And when it's game time, you have to have real players on the field to win. We're not electing the entertainer-in-chief. We're electing the commander-in-chief. And I know you're angry at Washington, D.C., and you have every right to be. And so am I. But that anger cannot manifest itself in putting in the position of commander-in-chief someone who you couldn't look in the eye of those parents and tell them that'll be a good commander-in-chief. It's not a good enough excuse for you to say to those parents, I'm voting for someone who won't be a good commander-in-chief, but hell, I'm angry, and that's why I'm voting for this person. That's not good enough. That's a betrayal to that family. And nobody in Iowa wants to betray that family. That family's making the ultimate sacrifice that any family can make. And what we owe them in return tomorrow night is for you to think of them, not how angry you are at Washington, not how funny somebody is, not how rich somebody is. None of that. What you got to think about tomorrow night is who's the most tested, mature, prepared person to be the commander-in-chief of the United States and to care for their son and the sons and daughters of everyone else that we send into this conflict to fight the war on terror, to preserve our values and our principles both here at home and around the world. I offer myself to you as President of the United States because I know I'm ready. You know I've been tested. I am mature. I've faced the challenges. I've stood up to them. I've had good days and I've had bad days, and I've survived through every one of them because I know who I am, I know how to make decisions, and I am unafraid to lead. I am ready to be that family's commander-in-chief, and I need you to help me make it happen.
Hi, I'm 17. It'll be my first voting next year. Why should I vote for you?
So my charm and good looks have not yet won you over. Is that what you're saying? I'm going to have to work a little harder. All right, here we go. See, the reason you should vote for me is because I've sat exactly where you sat at a very similar time. When I was turning 18, it was 1979 into 1980. And the country was in awful shape. Inflation was double digits. Interest rates were double digits. Unemployment was high. Hostages were taken in Iran. We had a president who told us that we couldn't do all these great things anymore, that we couldn't even heat our houses at the level we wanted to. He told us to turn down our thermostats and put on a sweater. He made America believe that what we had always been, we could no longer be. And I was just getting ready to go to college. And I thought to myself, what lousy timing. Like this great American experience that my father and mother had, I'm not going to get to have it. I want a great job. I want a great career. I want a country that's the best at everything. And I want to make that happen, but this guy's telling me that it can't happen. And then I got to cast my first vote in October of 1980 by absentee ballot in my dorm room at the University of Delaware. And that vote was for Ronald Reagan. And the reason I voted for him, yeah, absolutely. The reason I voted for him was because he made me believe I could be anything I wanted to be. He made me feel like my mom made me feel. My mom used to tell me all the time, Christopher, you work hard enough, you can be anything you want to be. She told me it over and over again so many times that I actually believed it. And then Jimmy Carter was making me not believe it. Ronald Reagan made me believe that he was going to help bring this country back to what it was, and that we were going to do it together. That's exactly what I believe. See, because here I am, a kid from New Jersey, who was born to a father who worked at the Breyers ice cream plant in Newark, New Jersey, and was the first person in his family ever to go to college. And he went to college because he served in the Army during Korea, got the GI Bill. His father had died when he was 16 years old. He had been admitted to Columbia University. He couldn't go because he couldn't afford it. So he joined the Army. And he came back from that experience, worked in a Breyers ice cream plant, and went to school at night in Newark, New Jersey, where that guy is wearing his sweatshirt over there at Rutgers University, the New Jersey State University. And I was born to a mother whose father was born on the boat between Sicily and New York City. My grandfather was born in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on that boat to a mother and father who came here with $7 in their pocket. My great-grandfather was a Mason. He came to this country because he believed it would give him a better life. Imagine that I was then in a country where the son of the guy from the Breyers ice cream plant and the mother who never went any higher in education but high school, who was born to a guy who was born in the middle of the ocean, that I'm running for president of the United States. Ronald Reagan made me feel that was possible. And my story, I hope, makes it feel possible for you, if I'm your president, that anything you want to do is possible if you're willing to work hard enough, dream really big dreams, and have great ideas. That's what this country's always been all about, and Barack Obama makes us feel like we can't do that anymore because he says the government's going to decide. They're going to decide what kind of health care you have. They're going to decide what school you're going to go to. They're going to decide every aspect of your life for you because they're smarter and better than you. And that's just not true. And I'm running for president because I don't believe that, because my life is an example of why that's wrong. And so if that's the kind of leader that you want, someone who not only knows how to do this stuff and has done it before and won't be fooled, no one's going to be able to throw the high, hard one by me. I've been there. But more than that, someone who is an example of how this country can be great and believes, and I absolutely believe in my heart, that whatever it is you want, whatever your dream is inside you, that my job is to get the government the heck out of the way and let you use your hard work and your ingenuity to get where you want to be. And all my job is to make sure that you're safe and secure when you're trying to pursue that dream. If that's something that you're interested in, that's why you should vote for me. That's what I'll give you.
Governor Christie, you talk a lot about entitlement reform, and you say that that's where the federal government can get savings needed to balance the budget. But can you name even one thing that the federal government does now that it should not do at all?
Yeah. You want one?
I want one.
Yeah. How about one that I've done in New Jersey for the last 6 years, and that's get rid of Planned Parenthood funding for the United States of America.
Anything bigger than that?
Bigger than that? Let me tell you something. When you see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of children being murdered in the womb, I can't think of anything bigger than that. I'd like to interrupt this debate on the floor of the Senate to actually answer the question you asked, which was on entitlements. Do you remember that, everybody? This was a question on entitlements.
I'll answer
the reason, now you already had your chance, Marky, you blew it. Here's the thing.
I'll be more than happy to entitlement.
The fact is, the reason why.
If you'll answer the Common Core question.
The fact is, the reason why that no one wants to answer entitlements up here is because it's hard. It's a hard problem. And I'm the only one up on this stage who, back in April, put forward a detailed entitlement reform plan that will save over $1 trillion, save Social Security, save Medicare, and avoid this. Avoid what Hillary Rodham Clinton will do to you, because what she will do is come in and she will raise Social Security taxes. Bernie Sanders has already said it, and she is just one or two more poll drops down from even moving further left than she's moved already to get to the left of Bernie on this. We have seniors out there who are scared to death because this Congress, this one that we have right now, just stole $150 billion from the Social Security Retirement Fund to give it to the Social Security Disability Fund. A Republican Congress did that. And the fact is, it was wrong, and they consorted with Barack Obama to steal from Social Security. We need to reform Social Security. Mine's the only plan that saves over $1 trillion, and that's why I'm answering your question.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor.
On September 11th, my wife was 2 blocks from the World Trade Center. When those buildings came down, she was trapped in her building, and I didn't hear from her for over 6 hours. We had 3 children, 8, 5, and 1, and I had to confront the possibility of being a single parent. Terrorism in this country scares everyone. And the fact is, we need a commander-in-chief who not only understands how to protect us, but feels in here what it means to face the possibility of loss. I've faced it. I've prosecuted terrorists. I have made the decisions that need to be made as a governor to protect us, and as President of the United States, no one will keep this country safer than I will.
Thank you, Governor.
I met 2 different women. First woman, older African-American woman. I get out of the car, and she comes up to me. She says, Governor, she introduced herself, gave me her name, and she said, I just want to thank you for coming to Orange. I said, well, thank you, ma'am. We shook hands. That was it. She walked away. The press swarmed over to her, and they asked her, what'd you say to the governor? She said, oh, I just thanked him for coming to Orange. They said, well, did you vote for the governor in 2009? She goes, no, I voted for Governor Corzine. Okay, well, who are you voting for in 2013, if you don't mind us asking? She goes, I'm voting for Governor Christie. And they said, well, why are you voting for Governor Christie? And she said, because I've lived here for 40 years. And she said, and that's the first white Republican I've seen on this street in my life. Like, showing up matters. It matters. It's a sign of respect. It allows people to listen. You don't show up, it's not going to happen. The second woman I met, I got out of the car. She had a huge button on her lapel with my face and the international no sign over it. So I firmly put her in the undecided camp. And so she comes up to me, she goes, "You're the problem. You're the problem." And she's yelling at me, pointing her finger at me. And I said, "Why am I the problem?" I said, "You're the problem. You know why you're the problem." I said, "No, I really don't know why I'm the problem." I said, "But how about this? I'm walking 10 blocks this way and 10 blocks back. Why don't you walk with me and you could tell me why I'm the problem?" And I put my arm around her, and we started walking. And she started griping about things, and I started answering her back. And she stayed with me the whole 10 blocks up and the whole 10 blocks back. And we were going in and out of businesses, and I was meeting people and campaigning with the mayor, and the mayor's looking at me like, "What are you doing with this woman?" And so finally, we got back to the car. And we had a really good conversation by this point. And she said to me, "I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to vote for you." And I said to her, "No, you're not." Like we had a nice conversation and everything, "But you're not voting for me, so don't lie to me." And she said, "No, I mean, I'm going to vote for you." And I said, "No, you're not. I don't believe you." And so she said to me, "How can I prove it to you?" And I said, "Give me the button." So she took the button off and she gave it to me. It's one of my most prized possessions from the 2013 re-election campaign. I have this button with my international no sign over my face. You got to show up. Now, what happened in that 2013 campaign? As a Republican who governed for 4 years, I got 61% of the vote for re-election. I won the Hispanic vote in New Jersey, 51% of the Hispanic vote. We won the Hispanic vote in New Jersey. I got 22% of the African American vote, up from 9% 4 years earlier. And in a race against a female opponent, who was an 18-year Democrat state senator, we won 57% of the female vote. You know, the fact is that this business is complex, but not complicated, right? You just have to work, and you got to listen. And people just want to be treated with respect. And so you need to be smart about what you say and how you say it, the tone of what you say, and you got to go and show people the respect that they deserve. If you think about it, it's no different than this process, right? Iowans do not like people who come in here on a private airplane, land, give a speech in some rally, and then leave. They're like, "Okay, that's fine, but like, when are we going to see you at Mickey's?" All right? Like, when are you going to do that, right? When are you going to serve alcohol from behind the bar at the state fair? When are you going to come to my kids' school? When, like, that's what you want. Why is that important? It's a sign of respect. It's a sign from me to you that your vote matters to me, that your problems matter to me. And when I come there and I listen, that's what makes the difference. And here's what we've got to stop worrying about. Young people are no different on that score. African Americans are no different on that score. Hispanic Americans, Muslim Americans, they're no different. They want to be shown respect by their leaders, and they want to be listened to. And then they want a leader who's going to actually govern and not just pontificate. It's not complicated, everybody. It's complex, but it's not complicated. And the same reason you demand this interaction from us to earn your vote is the same reason any other American wants to try to have attention at whatever level they can get it to earn their vote. That's what I'll do. I turned 18 in 1980, and my first vote was for Ronald Reagan. Boy, am I glad I did it. And I think the country is too. A Christie presidency won't be about me. It'll be about you. Tonight you sit at home in your living room frustrated that you play by the rules, you pay the taxes, you do the hard things to raise your family, yet you feel like America's generosity is being taken advantage of, that your system is being gamed, and that you're turning out to fall further and further behind. Our presidency will be about ending that, about enforcing the law, level the playing field for everybody, and once again reward those folks who play by the rules and think that justice means more than just a word, but it means a way of life. And I will tell you this, around the world, I will not shake hands with, I will not meet with, and I will not agree to anything with a country that says death to us and death to Israel and holds our hostages while we sign agreements with them. It'll be an America strong and resolute and will once again be able to stick out its chest and say, we truly are the greatest nation in the world because we live our lives that way each and every day.